This is one of those videos that I was hoping I would never have to make. SuperMega, the gaming duo, is now in some seriously hot water right now, as a video from one of their ex-employees named Lex Updog has come out with some very not good allegations towards the company. And yes, both of the creators of SuperMega have made response videos that we will be going over in this one. And this whole thing kind of goes pretty deep, so we'll be talking about a lot in this video because this is kind of a mess. So first, we're going to start with what happened on Twitter. So on Twitter, when Lex dropped this response tweet, she also dropped the video alongside it, but she dropped the tweet just so that way she can kind of like summarize it for people to let them know what's going on so they don't have to sit through the full 2 hours. But the slander on Twitter towards SuperMega was insane. There were people calling them out for being racist, homophobic, transphobic, all of the phobics that you can think of. They were called that. But that doesn't really matter right now, because right now we're going to talk about Lex's story because it's probably the most important part of this drama. So within the tweet that Lex dropped, she said that she was, and this is where I put my trigger warning, sexual assault. This is a really heavy subject that we're about to get into. Sorry for not like warning you in the beginning. But she basically said that she was sexually assaulted by the artist named Dawn. Now, Dawn works for SuperMega. That's why this whole thing ties in. Basically, the first night that they met while they were dating. I will have the tweets in the background, by the way, so you guys can read along with it if you want. But basically, he attempted to force her into some very nasty shit, and she said no. Now, the shitty thing is Lex lived with Matt because she worked for Matt. And Dawn also very much works pretty closely with Matt and Ryan in SuperMega. So Dawn was near constantly there. Now, from here, she went on and told Matt and Ryan about the situation with Dawn. But according to her in this tweet, they really didn't give a fuck. As a matter of fact, they said, and I quote, that SuperMega was their magnum opus and that it would be really bad if anyone found out about this. Not the best look, guys. Now, Matt and Ryan also decided that Dawn should just talk it out with Lex. And because of that, they sent Dawn to Lex. You don't do that. In this next part, a lot fucking happens and shit gets wild. Basically, she goes on to say that they used everything against her until it was necessary to kick them out. There's another party involved named Rav, and apparently their partner attempted suicide during this time. And that was all held against them, including the trauma that Lex went through with Dawn. She goes on to say that they were basically gaslighted into thinking that they were being lazy, even though they were working harder than everyone else at the time. From here, things get even wilder, because she then goes on to say that they got kicked out and were homeless, basically, for a minute. They were then robbed on their way out of LA, and things seem to just get worse from fucking here. Now, that's actually kind of where Lex's story ends. As you can see, that is horrendous, and honestly, it feels like they handled the situation fucking horribly. And when this dropped, it honestly confused a lot of people because Matt and Ryan are very beloved within their community. They're known to be really solid guys. So hearing all this shit come out was completely shocking to people. On top of that, we have people, like I said in the beginning of this video, calling them racist, homophobic, transphobic, all the phobic. And where that stems from is a guy named Leighton. Now, Leighton dropped a VOD. It's like 3 hours long. I am not gonna watch all that. I just don't have the time for it. Thankfully though, someone has summarized the entire VOD for us, so I will be putting it here. But basically all it's saying is that they misgendered Leighton's partner multiple times. They use the hard R, they joke about suicide near constantly. They joke about, I believe it was Leighton's partner that committed suicide or attempted suicide, and just a lot of horrible, horrendous things, including sexual assault towards Leighton. Very, very much not good. But then Matt and Ryan dropped their response videos. Now, I very much highly recommend you watch any and all of the videos that are mentioned in this one, which I will link down below, if you have in any way a interest in this drama, just so that way you know exactly what's going on. If not, then don't worry, I'm still gonna summarize it for you. Now, both Matt and Ryan dropped a response video. First, we're gonna go over Matt's video. Matt opens up the video by basically just reading Lex's tweet and confessing that they handled the situation horribly and they wish that they handled it way better than they did, obviously.
So I want to begin by offering Lex the deepest and most sincere apology, because the bottom line is Ryan and myself did not handle the situation well. There are a lot of ways that we could have handled the situation better, and we didn't. I also want to state that we never took any action to cover up a sexual assault, and we never tried to cover Dawn from any consequences.
He says that he's never been in a situation like that before, so he just did not know how to even respond to something like that. They did eventually fire Don as well. They wish they fired him sooner, and they have already apologized to Lex for everything that has happened as Matt goes ahead and shows receipts.
Since last summer, I assumed that my relationship with Lex was much better. For example, here's several texts I received from Lex between November of last year and February of this year. Good luck tonight, Matt. Heart emoji. I'm in Nashville, but I'd like to try to come to a show before tour is over. We should have a cookout when we're all back in town to celebrate. I said, thank you. We'll party hardy soon. On December 17th, guess who lives like 5 minutes away from you now? It's me. Hope you're having a good day. I say, no way. For real? Where at? Are you standing outside my door? She hit me up a couple days later, said, what are you doing? I said, I'm back in Charleston right now. What about you? Then she hit me up the next day, said, I got really stoned and forgot to reply, LMAO. I hope you have a good time with your family. Also, congrats on 1 mil. The next day I replied and said, thank you. Then on my birthday, she texted me, happy birthday, Matt. I love you. Hope your day is great. I thought that after I apologized to her last July, things had smoothed out. And I think you could see why I would think that. But that communication ceased around the time that we fired Leighton, who is a close friend of hers.
And then he goes on to address someone that I didn't even know was in the drama, a Twitch creator by the name of Morgpie. And Morgpie, the reason why she's in this drama is apparently because she went on Twitch and just fucking lied about everything. On her Twitch stream, she goes ahead and says that Matt basically cheated on his girlfriend with her multiple times through sexting, through hookups, through a bunch of crazy shit. And Matt, in his response, just says that she outright fucking lies about everything in there.
And unfortunately, more people have jumped on that bandwagon. One of those people being Morgan, aka Morgpie. For some background, in August 2022, when I was single and in between relationships, I sexted with her for 1 night and ultimately slept with her for 2 nights in September when she was visiting Los Angeles. During our hookups, I explicitly stated to Morgan that this was a hookup, and that I had just gotten out of a relationship and I was not looking for anything, and this is something she acknowledged. I actually brought this up more than once. After she left LA to go back home, I could tell that she had caught some feelings and I did not want to lead her on, so I began to kind of distance myself. Shortly after, I also ended up working through a rough patch and started dating my current girlfriend, and I talked to Morgan even less after this. We stopped communication. I didn't feel like it was appropriate to, be talking to someone who the relationship I had was primarily sexual while I had a girlfriend. We pretty much lost all contact after I started dating my current girlfriend, and I figured that that was normal, and that's kind of just what is the typical life cycle of a hookup. I was very surprised to hear what Morgan had to say on stream, considering last month in June, we had a very pleasant conversation where we tied up any loose ends and smoothed everything out, and I'm going to share that conversation. Morgan reached out to me on June 8th and said, hey, Matt, hope you're doing well. I said, hey, I've been doing okay. Been really busy and stressed, but I'm pushing through. How have you been? She said, oh man, me too. Supremely stressed, but I'm coming to LA this month and I'll be doing so much cool shit, so I'm excited. Glad to hear you're pushing through. I said, I'm just kind of exhausted with tour coming up and stuff, but I'll be okay. I've been doing therapy a lot, which has been super helpful, and glad to hear you're doing cool shit. She replies with, oh, I'm so happy to hear therapy has been helping. I've had mixed results with that. Great when it actually works out. She replies with, yeah, man, I'm excited, but yeah, just thought I'd check up on you because even though things got a little weird, I'll always care about you, dude. Hope you have a great tour too. I respond with, I appreciate it, and I'm sorry things got a little weird. I'm not very good at navigating stuff, and when I got in a relationship shortly after, I wasn't sure how to not be awkward about it. I care about you too, and I don't feel weird at all about things or about you. She said, yeah, I kind of know what happened, LOL, people talk, but cool, man, I'm glad things aren't weird. I said, same, glad it's not weird. I feel a lot better now, LOL. She said, me too, I hate loose ends. And I said, same, they bother me so much, LOL, and for clarity, I never felt bad or negative about you. I just didn't know how to not be awkward after a hookup. I'm not really a hookup person, especially since I'm in a relationship now. Sorry for my awkwardness. Glad we're all good. Morgan replies with, yeah, I felt a bit sour about it, TBH, because I'm not really a hookup person either. Low-key caught me with some feels and I felt pretty used afterwards, but shit happens and that's on me, so I don't harbor any ill will towards you. I mean, I didn't expect a relationship or anything, but yeah, LOL. I responded with, I feel ya, and I'm sorry for acting in any way that made you feel used. That was never my intention, and I'm just kind of awkward with this stuff. I could tell a little that you were catching feels, and I didn't want to lead you on and hurt you. Morgan said, I really appreciate that. I'm just a big baby, and when I open myself up like that to someone, it's because I'm really into them, contrary to what my profession may lead you to think. But I'm glad we could talk about this. I appreciate you talking about this with me, even though you aren't obligated to at all. I said, of course, I'm really glad we're talking about it too, because I didn't like feeling awkward or having a loose end. And she said, yeah, same. W. I respond with a cool sunglasses smiley face, and that was the last time we talked. So you could see why I was a bit surprised when Morgan went on stream and said what she said. Morgan not only brought my current girlfriend into the situation on stream without her consent, she also name dropped my girlfriend and revealed that we were in a relationship, which was not public information. I'm very private about my relationships, so this was a big blow. Morgan also brought my ex-girlfriend into the picture without her consent and has strongly hurt her because of this. She lied about conversations with my ex-girlfriend. She wrongly stated that I had been having a multiple-month affair with my current girlfriend while I was dating my ex-girlfriend. She lied that we had been consistently sexting when we only sexted for one night in August, and I have all of our text messages to prove that. She also lied about not knowing who my current girlfriend was, because she did know who that was, and she used it as a segue to name drop her. She also falsely claimed that I was cheating on my current girlfriend, which is not true. And for transparency, on day one of me dating my girlfriend, I informed her that I had recently slept with Morgan, and she told me it was not an issue. Following when I had that text conversation with Morgan in June where we smoothed things over, Morgan began hanging out with our ex-employee Leighton more, and I have not heard from her since that conversation until I saw her stream.
Now this is where shit gets even crazier. Apparently, Leighton was laid off a couple months back because of just straight up underperformance. Once this happened, Leighton blocked everyone outright and then proceeded to say that he could cancel SuperMega at any fucking time. There was a fucking Discord server made to just hate SuperMega. They were only made to take SuperMega down. Both Matt and Ryan in their responses say that this was basically just a attempt for Leighton. They used Lex as a fucking piggyback ride, basically, to get into the spotlight. Now this is where shit gets even worse. According to Matt and Ryan, they had a friend named Daniel who was very suicidal. Trigger warning.
So this next stuff is stuff that I don't really feel comfortable talking about, but it was brought up, so I have to address it. The first thing is that in her video, Lex accused me of calling my friend Daniel, who passed away from suicide in 2015, a coward on multiple occasions. This really hurt to hear because this is simply untrue. I have no recollection of ever opening up to Lex about my friend's suicide. And if I ever did open up to her about it, I know that I would never have referred to him in the manner that she portrayed. That experience affected me and Ryan more than anything has ever affected us in our lives, and it's something that we're still recovering from. And if you've dealt with suicide, you know that grief is different for each person, and you know that there are a lot of complex and confusing emotions that come with the grief regarding suicide. Some of those include anger, and if I ever expressed that to Lex, which again I firmly believe that I did not, if that's the case, then I find it wildly inappropriate that Lex would use something I said in a very vulnerable state to weaponize and to make me look worse. So let me start off by Leighton once again stating that Ryan and I don't care about suicide, and we would frequently make jokes about our friend Daniel committing suicide. This is so unbelievably offensive and honestly disgusting to me. To weaponize the death of one of our best friends whom he did not even know in a pathetic attempt to smear our names and make us look worse is not only low, but it shows a complete disregard for caring about suicide and mental health, except for when it's convenient to use as an excuse, a crutch, or a weapon. Throughout the stream, Leighton portrays myself and Ryan as horrible monsters who mistreated Rav and Lex and commonly complained about them at the office. While it is true that we had complaints about their extended stay at our office, Leighton was no stranger to complaining about this with us, and there are even texts to show that he was frustrated and complained just as much as us. Leighton also said that we repeatedly made him uncomfortable by exposing ourselves to him around the office. It's true that we did do a lot of crude jackass style bits around the office, and that's apparent in our videos too. But if Leighton ever felt uncomfortable by any of that, he never showed it and he never brought it up. I find it a little ironic that he complained about this, considering, for example, in December we were recording a podcast when he came in unannounced and showed us his cock and balls.
In late 20s, Chuck. Hey, Leighton.
Hey. Whoa.
Somebody's putting on.
Do you see his balls?
Leighton, you want to come take a seat?
Do you see his balls? I don't think it's appropriate for the podcast.
Well,
You want to wrap yourself in a towel.
That is a three-hander. That is a three-hander.
Yeah,
Goddamn,
it is.
Yeah.
He's not lying.
Or before he came around the corner, he stood there for 3 minutes going,
chuffing his shit.
"You're chuffing it, dude."
He said, "Lie detector test. I'm completely soft right now." But he looked over and he saw 3 beautiful men sitting down. So who knows?
That's true. Leighton, you know what we're going to do to prove that later? We're going to pants you at a random time.
It's a damn shame no woman.
Well, he showed us his penis. That is a three-hander.
Mentions of suicide. Now, Daniel did eventually, unfortunately, kill himself. They were heartbroken about it. Obviously, if it's one of their friends, they're gonna be hurt about it. Due to previous accusations that I brought up in this video, they are fucking livid. Now, what Matt and Ryan are saying is that Leighton basically used Daniel's suicide to try and cancel SuperMega. It's fucking horrendous if you ask me. Why the hell would you even attempt to try and do that? What is wrong with you? Apparently Daniel, Matt, and Ryan were friends for a long time and Leighton doesn't even know the history behind them. So to try and use that as ammunition is fucking abhorrent. During this, Matt pulls out all the fucking receipts, no stop, full send, and just completely debunks everything that Leighton said, even going so far to say that they have never used homophobia, racism, or transphobia as any fucking punchline of any of their jokes. Now, Ryan's response is only 9 minutes long, and it's basically just a summarized version of Matt's. It basically just covers, well, everything I just talked about, honestly. Really, the only difference between Matt and Ryan's apology is that Ryan had another allegation kind of thrown more so at him rather than at the whole SuperMega, which was sexting fans, which he admitted to in his response video and apologized for promptly. Now, they've also come out and said in both of these apologies that they will never forgive themselves for the way they treated the Lex situation, and they wish that they fired Dawn sooner. Personally, in my opinion, it seems like there was a lot of fucking miscommunication here. This should not be dramatized to the extent that it is, because there's a lot of fucking lies going on about what actually happened within this drama. The Lex situation is the one that really fucking matters here, because everything that Leighton and Morg Pie and anyone else has said doesn't even come close to being necessary for this. And thankfully, I think that this drama ended way better than any of the more recent dramas that have come out. This isn't as serious as the fucking Colleen shit or like the Illuminati shit. It seems like everything was kind of wrapped up nicely. Use this as a warning for any YouTubers out there that have situations like this happen within their companies, because a lot of YouTubers, guess what? They end up making companies out of their YouTube channel. If something like this happens within your company, listen to the victim. Like, straight up, full stop. There is no reason for you to think about it any other way. If someone is saying that they were sexually assaulted, you listen. Matt and Ryan fucked up on that end. Everything else is not even relevant. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think about this, because honestly, I feel like this whole thing was blown way the fuck out of proportion. And I feel like way too many people use this as just a free piggyback ride to try and cancel SuperMega. Like, yeah, they did a pretty awful thing and they handled the situation horribly, but that does not mean that they are racist, homophobic, transphobic, that they are just like everything under the sun you can label them with. Go ahead and leave a like, go ahead and subscribe, do all the things that YouTubers tell you to do. And hey, if you like this video, maybe go check out my last video, because I thought it was pretty good. Oh, and by the way, members are open now, so go check that out if you want a free shout out at the end of my video. Go check that out if you want a shout out at the end of my videos and some exclusive content that I will be making once I start getting some members, honestly. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I'll be out with the next one next time. That's gonna be it from me, so